In Singapore, to chope a seat is to claim your space with a pack of tissues. This is Chope, a series where Singaporeans gather over a meal to talk about survival, identity, and what it really means to belong in New Zealand. In this episode, we have Faris Nabil. In Singapore, he was Malay in a Chinese majority country. In New Zealand, he's even more of a minority, and a Singaporean in a place that doesn't know the difference. Faris sits down with me, and over nasi lemak, we chatted about kiasuism, starting over, and what it's like to build his entire adult life in a country where he's the only Malay Singaporean in most rooms he walks into. Thank you for coming into my humble home and having a meal with me. So just for the benefit of whoever is watching or listening, so Faris is started out as one of my customers who ordered mee rebus. That face-to-face chat combined with the interactions we have whenever I post Instagram stories, and then he would react and respond. Was I thought, okay, I think we can talk to this adik and have a conversation and find out more about him. Which I did initially as part of our discovery call. And just from that call alone, I think reinforced my initial thought, let's have a deeper chat about his experience here as a Singaporean Malay, as someone who pursue his passion for planes.
You can say that, yep.
I'm trying to use alliteration here. And I guess this is just based on my experience. Typically the Singaporeans I know are, people who are mid-career professionals, or those that have moved here 20-something years ago. But I think you are the first person that I met and discover that you came here to study and had your first professional experience in New Zealand. So there was no basis of comparison of what it's like to work in Singapore. So I find that quite compelling and would like to know more about that. So why don't you tell us, how did your passion for aviation, how did it get cultivated, and then why New Zealand, which I know the reason, but maybe our audience don't, and how did you end up in Auckland and today?
Okay, so thank you for having me.
And sorry, can makan as we talk, okay? So feel free.
I don't recall where the passion came from, let's put it that way. Probably started out wanting to be a pilot, but the cost to studying flying is prohibitive.
Okay.
So you find a adjacent qualification.
Okay.
Which is aviation management. Back then, there's not many places in the world that offer it. So I think when I was looking, the choices were Palmerston North. Never heard of the place before I came here. Coventry in the UK.
Okay.
Or Melbourne.
Okay.
Back then, Brexit haven't happened yet, so UK, the currency was still expensive. Melbourne, from my experience, probably I know I won't study because it's a very city-like place. So Palmerston North it is. It was I would say affordable back then.
Okay.
I just don't know where it was. And the objective is always to study. There was no long-term goal of wanting to stay to get a residency and whatnot. I think a lot of people here will have that goal, but I didn't have any. So it was just stumble upon my way. When you finish school, you would apply any and every job under the sky, right? It was about, okay, who's going to offer you first? And then when the offers came, funnily enough, it came all at the same time. So it was a choice what to take. It's all in New Zealand back then. And I would say the choice was, in hindsight, wasn't the greatest because you're living alone, you have rent to pay and whatnot. It was a part-time job, but it was in New Zealand, so it's fine.
Okay.
So I took that job. I worked there for 8 years, and life just happened.
So part-time throughout all 8 years, or
No.
eventually became full time?
No, it was the first job was the first 6 months was just part time. So it was that the mindset of okay, get a foot in the door, hustling and work your way through. Work for a while, and then COVID happened.
So when you said after graduation you apply for jobs, so do those jobs? I mean, did the jobs you apply only in New Zealand or like Singapore?
Both Singapore and New Zealand I applied. Interviews both sides as well. But
Okay.
I think people can resonate as a fresh graduate with no experience. It's very hard for you to get a job. People will have to believe you, kind of thing. So yeah, I do believe that there was an element of luck somehow. But yeah, it's challenging out there. Especially with someone back then, I knew no one in the industry.
Yeah.
Apply and see what happens, and behold, yeah.
So is your degree what is it called? Bachelor Aviation or
Really, degrees in aviation management.
Aviation Management?
Yeah. Oh, thank you. But it gives you a very broad foundational knowledge. It doesn't teach you specifics, project management, macroeconomics, whatnot.
Okay.
Those build a business case. Those stuff are important. After you work, those stuff are important. But that's the education experience here, which is fine in fairness. Maybe a bit different because it was a very niche topic. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I picked up on you said as a fresh grad, it's all, I mean, you don't have the experience. So it's all about, people taking a chance on you. And I also picked up, you say, it's luck. So at that time, what year was it?
2018, I believe.
Oh, 2018.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's always an element there. Someone will have to take a chance on you. I had the opportunity to recruit as well down my years in my career. And it's for the hiring manager, you put yourself in the hiring manager's shoes. You have to make a judgment call based on your 1 hour interaction with the individual, right? I always tell others, it's also luck. If you're interviewing a group of candidates, if the person before you is brilliant, you have to be brilliant.
Yeah.
If the person before you is not so brilliant, then whatever you say will stand out.
Yeah.
And it's that element. And then on the day, whether the hiring manager is having a good day or bad day, there will be those aspects. I always tell people that.
Or even whether you interview in the morning or afternoon.
Yes, interview
Before lunch or after lunch.
or you're the last person
that's keeping him away from going home.
or you're the last person of the day, or you're the first person of the day. Those things all make a impact, and sometimes it's where you are in the queue. If you are the first person to be interviewed, or you're the last person to be interviewed, that also plays a factor. So yeah, there will be an element of luck in there when you apply for a job. But yeah, it's a tough call for a hiring manager to make a call on you based on 1 hour of interaction. But I've always found here, because it's like you said, my adult life is all here. People will give you a chance. Whether you just have to show a bit of hunger, a bit of willingness to do stuff, and always with an open mindset. I think there will be people who will give you a chance, regardless.
So this, again, I picked up on a word, not because of anything, but I guess just to place our conversation in the currency of, heated topics of discussion in Singapore, right? Which I'm pretty sure it has reached you, about this recruiter who says Singaporeans are not hungry enough. So I mean, then because you mentioned the word hungry, right? And we are eating. So how then did you demonstrate hunger, and how did you as a hiring manager, what does a hungry person look like to you?
I had a theory. If you have McDonald's in your resume, I would interview you. Okay?
I have.
My point was...
Seriously.
My point was not the McDonald's being such a process-driven place. My point was
You're willing.
it shows character. You're willing to do any job to pay the bills or get somewhere in life or kind of thing, or a bit of pocket money. But the point was, it showed that you are willing to do something less glamorous to feed yourself or whatnot. That's the kind of thing you cannot uncover in a resume because it's its own personal value. So I had a theory. If I saw McDonald's in your resume, I would more likely to give you an opportunity because it's character beyond the resume.
And I guess from a fresh graduate perspective, you would put any work experience in your
Yes,
resume.
yep, correct.
So, who's to say that that's not that shouldn't be a considered approach?
Yeah, everyone will have their own thing. Yeah, but that was mine. Yeah.
So have you worked in McDonald's?
No, I've not moved McDonald's.
No, I have, okay? I'm not shitting you, okay? I worked at McDonald's like during my uni days. I started as crew member, and a McDonald's in Singapore back then was paying like $2.75 or $3.
Probably.
Yeah, definitely less than $5 lah as a crew member. And then because I'm a fast learner, I was promoted to like floor manager like maybe within a year. And don't think floor manager sounds nice, right? I think my salary was still like below $5 an hour. And then, it's like you said, right? Like, when you are a crew, you have to do everything. You have to wipe tables. You have to clear the rubbish. You have to make, try all the different stations, right? Yep. And then after that, there will be like tests. Okay, believe it or not, you have to like sit down with your floor manager and, go through a test, and then he or she will watch you on the job, whatever. And then you have to like do the opening and the closing like early in the morning and then late at night. And this is with studying and everything. So so I can totally understand like why you would think working in McDonald's or any fast food joint possibly.
Any fast food joint, it can be McDonald's, Pizza Hut.
A kind of reflection. Because you really have to do things that people don't want to do.
Yeah. So that was my journey of my career previously.
I guess we can say it's like your curiosity and passion in a subject area that brought you to here. I mean, physically here, right? And it is like your first adulting experience. So what's that like for you? Like to build your first adulting experience away from home, away from familiarity, away from like maybe commiserating with peers.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it wasn't rosy, but I wouldn't say it was overly tough as well. You earn a salary, but there's bills to pay and groceries to manage, kind of thing. If you're back home, I think there would be support, kind of thing, because technically most Singaporeans still live at home if you're not married. Yeah, it was just a juggling act. You go to work Monday to Friday, then you have groceries to buy, meals to prep, laundry to do. That shapes the adult experience. I would say. I don't think it's unique. Most people in the world generally leave home, most Kiwis would generally leave home at 18, 19, and they will venture on themselves. So they gain life experience that way as well. So it's more of a Kiwi experience more than a Singapore experience. But it shaped you in a certain way where you're always dependent on yourself. When trouble hits, you figure it out yourself. When you need to pay a bill that you don't have enough, figure it out yourself, kind of thing. Yeah. Slowly, it will mold you into a certain character or individual, which maybe if the experience was back home, it wouldn't be the same. I would say I'll still be sheltered in a way because there's always a escape. There's always a mom and dad to run to. Here, there's nobody to run to. So everything's on your own. So that's the general adulting experience. And then you figure out for yourself, right? Like let's say nasi lemak, you're craving for it. You learn how to cook, And those things, education cannot teach. It's life experience. And if more people would have this life experience, it'd be great.
So from what you just shared, is it correct to say like what we experienced growing up as like young adults, still we might have been working but still living with parents, is a uniquely Singaporean thing? Or
I can generalize it as an Asian thing. I don't think it's necessarily Singaporean, because Asian will have those conservative values of staying at home prior to marriage, kind of thing. There is a facet where I would say Singaporeans could learn a lot from living on your own. Yes, there is a slowly growing market of people living on their own now, but there's always that mindset, oh, why spend cash on rent when housing is paid for CPF? There's that mindset kind of thing.
Yeah.
Why spend the cash when you don't need to, you know? But in most places around the world, it's
You
all
have
cash.
to cash,
You
yeah.
have to pay cash, you know? So is that perspective that if Singaporeans have, would be great. Like you see here, you pay cash for everything, rent, mortgage, whatnot. So there's that aspect if you get the experience. The Kiwis that I've met here, the most brilliant ones, the ones that are very smart, they have one thing in common. They all have worked overseas. Like whether it's Australia, Middle East, or the UK, they have that perspective that the people that didn't work overseas did not have. And if more of Singaporeans could venture, I know there's more now. It's in the culture, right? Kiwis, OE after uni, or it's like a rite of passage. You do 2 years somewhere else, and then come back and then start everything. If you could incorporate that into the rite of passage in Singapore, I think society as a whole will benefit. Yeah, because there's just different perspective, right? The hunger you brought up previously, right? The one thing, you go overseas, you see how different people experience life, and then you come back, you add that to perspective. It could be, it will show hunger as well. It could be, as you pointed out, because I'm not from here and I go job interviews, I could display hunger because I wanted to succeed. Same with other people who go to Singapore and want to succeed. It could be that perspective as well. But yeah, perspective is wonderful if you have it. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting, like you brought up, like, based on your observation that, the more brilliant Kiwis are those who have had worked and lived overseas. How do you define that brilliance? Like, what is it that sets them apart from their peers who did not get to go overseas?
The mentality of open and the openness to wanting to improve or do things in the right way versus insisting that this is always the right way, from my experience. Probably more the experience as well. Go back to the perspective point, right? If you have more than one perspective, you'll be brilliant, right? Same with experience. If you have more than one experience, you would be great at your job because you know what worked, you know what you didn't work, but then you apply it to the local context. But yeah, the most brilliant people I've worked with have had that overseas adventure. But notwithstanding, there are some Kiwis there that who didn't leave are brilliant as well. But the vast majority, it's a common theme that I seem to run into with my career. Yeah, those with overseas experience will always have done. They're more competent in their roles. Let's put it that way.
Okay, but you said that it would be good if in Singapore somehow the system, or dare I say, like, the culture can be changed. Can evolve such that Singaporeans would be encouraged / or they themselves would be self-motivated to want to go overseas. Because I don't know, so when I shared with friends and family, like, I'm gonna come here, right? 2 things usually follow up. First, it's like, oh, when are you gonna come back? And then second question is like, where do you want to go? Singapore is so safe. You're gonna have kids, right? You have kids, right? So, it'd be good for them, education, whatever, right? Maybe it's more for the latter. Like, Singaporeans will think, yeah, we are safe. Everything is working great. What incentive is there for me to go out into the big bad world? Whereas I guess for Kiwis, I feel it's because maybe they don't have that many opportunities. In terms of jobs, jobs it's alone, right? Like, Singapore being like a regional, sometimes global hub where companies all over the world set up shop there would create the kind of job and opportunities, right? And it is like strategically located as well. Like, you have easy access to different parts of Asia. I would imagine it's more of a push for Kiwis to want to have the overseas experience more than it is for Singaporeans.
Yeah. I think you have a good points there. I did realize in my career there is a natural ceiling in the Kiwi job market. There's only so much you can achieve that if you want to grow and spread your wings overseas would have to be done.
Yeah.
You're correct. The flip side is, yes, again, Singapore is like a regional hub, whatnot. The companies come to you instead of you go to them to enjoy or to experience a different perspective. But Singapore as a society is probably too efficient. Yeah. I mean, and the safety, yes, we lived in New Zealand. It's not entirely safe, especially a few years ago. But then again, it's about, it's that creature comfort, right? If safety, very efficient at everything they do in Singapore is like amazing. And then you come here, you experience the local bureaucracy, and then it's like, oh my god, it takes so long for everything. It's a lesson as well, you know, to say that the world is not always great. Singapore is very small, you know. It's the size of Auckland. It can show Singaporeans that Singapore is actually great from a local bureaucracy standpoint, from a job availability standpoint, from a safety standpoint. The controversial part would be from a housing standpoint. That the way it has been designed in Singapore, it's great. After living overseas, you will understand. I think the housing one will touch people the most. Where I go back to what Lee Kuan Yew said. The society as a whole benefits because you give a stake in Singaporeans, so they will work hard. Naturally, they will work hard to grow the economy, right? Which is true. Like, because you give people a stake in nation building, and they want to work hard by themselves, and they will want to improve their own lives. Which, if can be replicated here in New Zealand, I think New Zealand as a country will be better. That has showed over the last 40, 50 years in Singapore. You know, you give Singaporeans a stake, most people own their home there.
Yeah.
They will work hard. There's always economic output of every individuals. Because it's important for them to maintain their own personal family or personal lifestyle. But the country will benefit. New Zealand is different, obviously. It's very challenging for anyone to get property here. So there's a wave of people, right? Or I can't get anything here, I'll just go Australia, kind of thing. And then they set up shop there. There's no incentive for people to stay, but in Singapore, there is every incentive for you to stay. Different perspective again. That word is very strong today.
Which is good.
Yeah.
At least there's a theme going on.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, sometimes one of the selling points, like the agents will just rattle off, is actually, the house here is owner-owned occupied, the house is owner-owned occupied, the house there is owner-owned occupied. Which I didn't quite click what it meant. I mean, and nobody has confirmed whether my inference is correct or not. But I think it has every bit to do with, like you said, the stake. Because if the house is yours,
you will take care of it.
Yeah,
you will take care of it,
you
right?
will take care of it.
Yeah.
I mean, and you won't only take care of your house, but you will also make sure like things around you, right? Yeah. Like the neighborhood, like you said, we have a stake in it. Is when you have a stake in it, you will want it to be safe. You want it to be conducive for everyone because it benefits you. Yeah, I didn't register until like quite recently. It's like, oh, I think that's what they were trying to subtly tell me, like, if you buy this house, you'll be okay because things around you wouldn't change because you don't know who you're renting out to, right? Sometimes, and that kind of variable, that kind of stress is not, you might think it's nothing, but if you have rowdy neighbors, it will affect you.
Yep.
And I know that from experience because one of my neighbors is quite problematic that way. So yeah, we totally understand that perspective. So I mean, there's every reason why back in the 80s, like Margaret Thatcher wanted to copy what housing development board has built, right, and replicate it back home, which I don't think they have done successfully. I also have this conversation yesterday with one of my guests about just in general what I miss here is vision. Yeah, I think it's very lacking, and especially in the last 3-4 years, like I think post-COVID, as a very recent migrant, 8 years, not too long, not too short, but it is enough for me to feel there's a difference in terms of the New Zealand I thought it was and the New Zealand it is today. And I don't think I'm even being controversial for saying this, because Kiwis themselves say it, like on LinkedIn, you know, I read a lot of commentaries about what's going on in this country. Like Kiwis themselves also think the New Zealand today is not the New Zealand they knew from a few years ago. So like, you know, in Singapore, we are great at campaigns, right?
Yep.
I don't know, speak good English. And then suddenly they want to make Chinese cool, you know? And then road safety. And then Great Singapore Workout, right? Like we actually know what each ministry is trying to achieve, and actually what is the outcome that is wanted, you know, like. But here, I can't say for any particular ministry for what they're doing. Like, I don't understand whether is there a message they're trying to send us. What are they trying to achieve? I don't know. Which probably has to do with the whole stake mentality as well. Like, you know, because here every 3 years you change government and all that, right? And if that's the case, it's quite easy to think like whoever is in power at that time is just every man for himself.
Yep.
Because there's no incentive for them to do what's good.
Yep. And
for the long term, right?
And also society standpoint here is quite fragmented. The way I've learned, like there'll always be the older versus the younger generation kind of thing. There'll always be that kind of perspective, and there's no unifying thing that ties TVs together. Okay, maybe rugby will tie them together for about 3 months of the year, if you can argue cricket as well. But apart from that, there's no really something to hold everyone together. Singapore, yes, correct. There is the long-term 20, 30, 50-year master plan you can see, right? But here, even a 5-year one, it's very difficult to find. You don't know what's going on. So you're correct in a way. There's no long-term approach here. And I think commentary has said that people need to have, but long-term, from a like education standpoint, what graduates you want to churn out for what industry, from a transport standpoint, from a housing standpoint, where you want to build houses, there's nothing here. Singapore is different. Everything is planned 20, 30, 40 years in advance. There will be adjustments, but at least there's a master plan there. On the way here, I did think that national service, for all its reputation, I think at least brings people together. As a point of shared experience.
Just out of curiosity, you army or?
I served in the Navy.
Navy. Oh,
yeah.
I keep thinking police for some reason.
It's okay. So national service is one thing. I think the men will agree that it brings the people together, whether you're rich, whether you're poor, whether where you live, what education level. It brings everyone together from a shared experience standpoint, and there's that in Singapore that you don't see here, because here there is definitely a clear societal differences, whether it's between the haves or have-nots, or whether it's between the classes or the races. That you can see it here. It's very evident, and that also doesn't help the long-term thinking, because one group of individuals will want this, one group will want that kind of thing, and project standpoint, it'll be 2 years of talking before anything gets done, right? So, and if let's say for example, your beautiful home here, if you had a backyard, you want to build a house, your neighbor can challenge you, right?
Yeah.
So, but in Singapore, there's no such thing. That's the different society that we experience, because what I feel here, that nothing bonds them together. That's why I would say it's experienced that way. Yeah, but rugby will always bond them together for 5 months of the year.
At least for a few months, not too bad lah.
Yes.
So speaking of bonding, like I think you shared with me as well, like your university experience here. You said like you are a minority within a minority. So like at university, like the clubs or whatever, like you are probably the only like Malay Singaporean, right? Coming here with that experience, and I suppose like in your words, you haven't really seen a lot of or connect with a lot of people like you.
Yep, correct.
So how do you navigate that like from a identity, from a, like your how you were raised.
I think it's just the raising part. I was always comfortable being the one and only person. It was fine. To me, human first, race wasn't part of a equation. Upbringing, 10 years in a Catholic school. I even had to go another school to take my O levels for Malay because there was that little of them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Those things exist. I think it still exists probably. Yeah, because there's not enough of Malays
To make a
to
class.
make a class.
Yeah,
So you have to go
yeah.
another school to take the O levels. In the Navy as well.
You'll be one of the
I think
so-
we count one hand probably at that point.
Yeah.
There are more now, but I think at that point with one hand. But again, no, didn't expect special treatment. I was just one of the men.
Yeah.
It was fine. That's why I think maybe it bode the experience well when I came here. It was fine being different, being one of the minority of the minority, you say. But again, Qs are receptive. They weren't closed off. They were very receptive of the fact that it's someone different culture, different religion.
Yeah.
And it was a fine experience. The point of the post university experience where I didn't really socialize a lot. One is I think university was a slightly negative experience with Singaporeans. That's why I didn't really navigate a lot with.
Oh, with the Singaporeans here.
Yes, part of the reason. I'm not saying
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything about
Yeah.
you, but it was part of that experience. But also, when you start working here, I don't know, there's very little social time where I realize. But versus Singapore, where probably you could meet people for dinner every second day.
Hang out after work.
Hang out after work kind of thing. Here is probably,
Everywhere is closed.
well, that part as well. And probably you spend too much time in traffic that by the time you reach home, you say you don't want to go out. And I did think about it in that way. How do you meet friends outside of work?
And because Auckland is very dispersed.
Yes.
So I mean, if someone live in East Auckland, someone live in West Auckland, where do you meet?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, you meet in the middle, but it's like,
Yeah, you meet in the
oh
middle.
gosh, I have to drive like 40 minutes just to have dinner.
And then you have to pay for parking.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
do I want to do that?
Yeah, so I think people are just so busy with their lives here, and nasi lemak is not cheap outside. If you want to go out,
Yes. It's free here, by the way.
yeah. So there's that aspect as well where they would discourage people from socializing. So probably that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was telling, I can't remember who I told, but I was just saying, in Singapore, like if I feel like meeting a friend, but I literally will text them maybe, I don't know, after lunch and say, hey, you want to go for dinner? And then after that, we go for karaoke. Oh, yeah, okay, on. And then they say, okay, meet you at City Hall, where
Here, no.
after work, we are there.
Yeah, here,
you know?
here's something different here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's convenience, like is it?
I think there is apart from, I guess, definitely culture. And then number two, the regionality of Auckland. And then I think number three, there's just a lack of what I learned from university. Third spaces. Like just, kopitiam, just randomly walk down the street. Oh, kopitiam, come, let's,
Yeah.
But here,
They prioritize something different.
yeah, it's not, there's no such space.
Yeah. Agree.
To do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, which is why I guess, with this current government like trying to cut down funding for, public spaces is actually a terrible thing to do. I mean, I shared on the Instagram, right? Like, the Bedok Library. Bukit Batok Library, where they revamped it and it looks...
Bukit Batok.
Where's Bukit Batok? Bukit Batok is in the west. Where I used to live as a kid. I was a Jurong person.
Yeah.
Like the library is like insane. Like, is it a library or is it like a fancy like bubble tea cafe? Like it will incentivize people to, whether or not you go there to borrow books or study is another issue, right? But it's like it's a place to gather with your friends. If as a kid, I can't afford to eat McDonald's, at least I got a library to hang out with my friends. Here it's like a bit lacking, which maybe could be the reason why young people here get into trouble.
Oh,
Because, there's just no space for them.
And they don't have a avenue to express themselves.
Yeah.
Could be.
There's just no
could be
space
right.
for them.
Yep.
Yeah. So So interestingly, you also shared with me that you met your Kiwi wife in university. Share however much you want, like in terms of, the experience of meeting someone local and then getting married and then like, I guess, reconciling, like marrying into someone of a different culture.
No comparison, obviously, but you hang out in university and then you just slowly started dating and then got together. Probably Kiwis are more, I won't say more, cannot compare. Kiwis are always receptive of cultures, It doesn't matter what culture you're from. I think they're always receptive. And you just show up. Family thing is very big here. So you show up to their family events and they will slowly welcome you in. From a marriage standpoint, it was during COVID, so I actually don't remember much. Yeah, because it was during COVID, right?
Yeah.
So the paperwork was tough, but from a receptive perspective, I don't think my family had any objections.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was it was quite okay, I would say. We've been married 4 years this year. We're still going. Yeah. There will be cultural differences. You always have to be receptive of that. But she loves Malay food, so that's great. So satay and rendang is always her favorite.
So did she start loving Malay food because she met you?
Okay, she didn't even eat rice before she met me, and then now she eats rice, satay, and rendang and whatnot. And yeah, we do both things. I do Christmas with her family as well. What worked for us, I would say, is we were allowed to grow together into a unit without the societal pressure of whatever's around us. Because we both live in Auckland now, right? Both our families are not here. So we grew into that mold together, and what worked for us might not work for everyone. Always interested in listening to other couples' stories because dating is dating. There's a trial and error, right? You and then you jump into a marriage where for guys might be a bit tricky because you cannot treat your wife like your mother and leave your laundry around or leave your dishes around kind of thing.
Say it louder for the people at the back. No, not you. No, just because you think you're at the back. I'm not talking about you. Yeah.
So it's like a 50-50 thing, right? Whether you're compatible in the home life and compatible in outside life, if you're compatible, it's fine. It's very easy to be compatible. But the home life is different. Whether you're aligned financially, you're aligned from a values perspective. And we got that trial and error because we both live in Auckland just by ourselves, fend for ourselves, kind of thing.
So she was originally from?
She's Palmerston North.
Palmerston North.
Palmerston North. So yeah, and it's that experience that was different from other couples, which for my part, I would like to understand how other couples do it, because it's always interesting to hear, you date, you don't move in together until you move in together.
Yeah.
But for us, we got the house before we got married. So we could experience that before
Confirming.
Committing.
Committing.
Versus the Singaporean way where you would naturally date. Usually you would live with one set of parents, right? After marriage.
Yes, like while waiting for your BTO to be ready.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So for you to build that unit structure under the prying eyes of others, it is difficult. But we had the freedom to develop that. So that way I think we developed it. I would say more for our own.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. No, what you say reminded me again of a conversation I had with a guest yesterday. But this is more about the parenting bit, right? Like, because we started talking about freedom and raising third culture kids here, and we got into sharing like, yes, it is hard to do everything here by yourself.
Yes, correct.
If I was still in Singapore, I would imagine, like you said, my parenting would be scrutinized by family, extended relatives.
You'll be peer reviewed.
Yes.
Quite extensively.
Your kids will be compared to
Yep.
another cousin's kids. Which, parenting is hard enough.
Yeah.
We don't need, I mean, already like, sources on the internet are already confusing the hell out of us. So, having another, I don't know, noise
Yeah.
It's not gonna. Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's great. I mean, I've experienced that before, even though it's like short lived. I mean, like 3 years before I brought the kids here. But yeah, I mean, I totally get what you mean. Like, it is very underestimated. I mean, of the guise of, your parents would say, oh, why you want to rent? You can stay with us, save money while your BTO is ready, or whatever, your house is ready, right? Let's, under the guise of like generosity and trying to help you.
Yep. Not wrong.
Yeah, not wrong. Yes,
Not wrong. Yeah.
Obviously not wrong. But like you say, when you are
New to it.
new, and you and your new partner, or you as a new parent trying to figure things out, and then having
You need a space to figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think where we are lucky here as Singaporeans in New Zealand is that we literally now have the space. Like space in terms of like, we all living, most of us are living in houses, which is big enough, right? Compared to like a HDB flat or apartment in Singapore. But there is also the other distancing, which is literally 8,000 kilometers apart.
But I acknowledge that there are challenges as well. Like you said, right? No support system. It is difficult when I was leading people. I always try to, I don't have kids myself, but I always try to empathize with them, Childcare pickup, kid PTA meeting, basketball, whatever. Just let me know. It's fine. I need to give you that space to. And I think that's different from a society here. I mean, in Singapore, yes, there will be some companies that will be flexible, but not necessarily. It's not all. Here, it's usually family first. No, it's fine. You get the work done. Try to support people the best they can, because it is tough. Like, especially between infant and 2 years old, it is tough. After 2 or 3, you go to school, which is slightly easier on you. And there are no, as far as I know, no affordable options for childcare. It's quite expensive, especially if you have multiple. Yeah. So again, there's no support system, right? So there's no grandparents to pick them up. But it helps you bond in a way. Bond in a way and create your own unique relationship.
I mean, in general already, right? The world has never been about making being a mother easy or making a woman's life easy.
Yep.
But like, speaking specifically like to New Zealand, like, school starts at 9, ends at 3. But work starts at, 8, ends at 5. Like, how do you expect?
And then the whole world is on the road between.
Yeah.
At 8.
Every day, actually any time of the day. Now Auckland, like, and why is it jam at 11 o'clock?
Yeah.
Why is it jam at 2 o'clock? I don't understand.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, the system is already rigged against like parents to a certain extent, But I think what is great about New Zealand is, like you say, like, it's a she'll be alright culture. Like a bit high trust side, I would say. Yeah, like, as your experience as a manager, right? You trust that, if one of your colleagues, direct reports, say, oh, I need to pick up my kids, you trust that before or after he or she does, he will do the work, right?
Yeah, and it's something I've learned here. And because I work in New Zealand, I have to apply that working style as well. Will be different probably if I'm back home, or it might not be different when I'm back home. Depends on what the company is flexible with. But yeah, that I would say I adopted it from what I've learned through the years here. It's definitely a Kiwi thing.
Yeah. Speaking of that, like, I think earlier on you briefly mentioned, about the traits of like Singaporeans / like Kiwi workers. But in our initial call, you also raised like how, the sensibilities of being a Singaporean, like kiasuism, for example. And then versus, like, I guess, the Kiwi thing is like tall poppy, you cannot stand out. Everybody is quite egalitarian.
Yep.
Whereas in Singapore, you always fight to be
the
best or top, whatever. You might have already answered this, but specific to this scenario, like, how do you contend with it in a work environment?
I would say I'm still learning. I think I was naive to the fact that top poppy didn't exist. It definitely exists. But what I've learned is the kiasuism, less tall poppy. Like, tall poppy, yes, you stand out. You will get
chopped off.
Taken down is more the right word or phrase. So it definitely exists. I would say I was naive to it. The kiasuism, because you're so hardwired to being competitive, you always think 2, 3, 4 steps ahead. You always work to improve yourself. And to any Singaporeans who want to work overseas, you will have an edge. I'm average at best if I'm in Singapore. I'll be honest with you. I'm average at best in terms of my smartness or my ability to deliver or whatever you want to put it in the workplace. I'm average at best, but here you're not average. Here you're usually one of the smartest people around. Yeah. I take that life journey experience, and if replicated to others, I believe it will be the same. Your competitive streak starts young, right? I think you mentioned before on our chats that it starts at school, and you will still have it when you're an adult. And I think if you work overseas, you would thrive naturally, because there's that you're so used to being competitive, and then suddenly you come here as relaxed. No, relax. No deadline next week. No, it's right. It's fine. No stress.
I know.
Yeah. So it takes a bit of an adjustment, but if you adjust it correctly, you can succeed.
Yeah.
So yeah, but there is a balance. Definitely being. Now, I've only worked in a Kiwi organization, so I wouldn't know what other organizations are. But
So you have stayed in that same job ever since graduation?
same organization.
Yep.
So I only work in one organization throughout. I don't know how others work, but definitely there will be that egalitarian workforce. There's that. Most people are in that mold. There will be a few green shoots there, which you might be taken down or not from the tall poppy syndrome. But the workforce is generally a mold. Your kiasuism will bring the best out of you in terms of standing out. But you have to find the right balance. Being competitive in the workplace. Nobody likes a competitive person, anywhere you go, right? Yeah. So don't overly be
Now
competitive.
that explains a lot of things.
No, yeah. So don't be overly competitive. If let's say you manage to find yourself in a foreign organization, my belief, it's always my belief, do the work, you will get rewarded. I'm hardwired that way, unfortunately. But there is also an element of talking to get your way through, right? There's those two aspects. I think people who work can resonate to that. There's being able to work and being able to talk. Now, in New Zealand, it's more of the latter. Usually, being able to talk gets you ahead.
Yep.
Being able to do the work will not get you anywhere. So you have to find the right balance.
How do you?
I'm still finding my right balance. It's not. I'm still very young in my career. Well, only 8 years into my career, so still figuring it out how to navigate the world. Other people might have different experiences, but that's how I've experienced things.
So where are you at? What are your where were you at in your career now? What's your next steps, or what are you doing to get to the next step? Is it still like aviation, or you're looking?
There's a natural limit, like we previously said. There's a natural limit to what you can achieve from a career standpoint.
You mean in New Zealand?
In New Zealand, yes, there is a natural limit because the market is just so small.
Yeah.
There is the limited supply. There's only 1 or 2 organizations that you can really work with. So maybe in the next 5 years is somewhere else. It might not be New Zealand. Depends where. Whether always interested in the UK. Just I think in our initial chat, I think New Zealand's too chill.
Too chill.
Yes, Singapore is too stressful. New Zealand is too chill. What's the balance?
In the middle.
What's the balance, right? I think UK is a good landing spot that I like to explore as well, because I don't feel that being in one organization and one working style will suit me well long run. But there are others who might be different, who will say, oh no, every 3 years I need a new challenge. So it depends. Can't answer you where is the what am I doing to take the next step, but it's about, I know that I need to take a step to further myself. My perspective, when I have a family, I think the education in Singapore is just better. Now, I know you have a different perspective, but that foundational years is important. And here, I think the education is just not there.
So how do you, and because you're not a parent yet.
Yeah, I'm not a parent
So
yet.
how do you know? I mean, just from observing, like
No,
it's not.
well, observing is one. You
Yeah.
ask my colleagues, the children, and how they learn in schools too, and you read back to the long-term
Yes.
plan, right?
Yes.
There's no long-term plan, right? So you can take anything under the sky as a high school leaver. You can take anything, which is not wrong. You can follow your passions,
Yeah.
but whether that passions translate into employment is another thing. You figure out yourself.
Yeah.
Whilst the Singapore education system is rigid, but there's foundational stuff in there that will bode for someone long term. My perspective, again, and I feel that it is a better approach to prepare you for the world versus the. Well, it might change. You might never know. Might be it's too difficult to move back. You have to pack up your house, kind of thing. It might change. You might never know. But yeah, that 5 years maybe I'll still be here. Beyond that, might not be here. Yeah.
Hopefully someone, in charge of like policy and vision in this country. I mean, not even writing on the wall. I mean, Kiwis themselves are living. What more people like us who have, I guess, to a certain extent, been growing up and exposed to, places and approaches that of excellence. We know what excellence looks like. We live it, breathe it. And because we are in the environment, naturally we will. I mean, we are the average of. I read this. We are the average of 5 people I hang out with, right?
Yep.
I mean, apply that to on a national level, right? Like, what's your average? I mean, if your average is like this, how can you expect your populace to, So yeah, I am still struggling. I'm as with my husband, struggling with meeting in the middle, coming from the Singapore kiasu, 5 steps ahead.
Yep.
Got plan A, plan B, plan C, and then over here it's like winging it all the time. It's so hard to find a middle ground. Like, it frustrates you,
Understand.
But also at the same time, it's like also, okay, do what the Romans do. Yeah, sometimes it's sometimes you also think like, is it really because we are Singaporeans, or is it actually, hey guys, isn't it more about wanting to be better together? It's not because I'm Singaporean and therefore I bring all this thinking and doing and trying to impose it on you, which I guess they will not really like it, because hey, you are in my country, like, why are you bringing your worldview and imposing on me? But at the same time, you also read articles like LinkedIn or whatever, that their own people feel that we are not, that they're not doing as well as they should also.
Yes.
You get what I mean?
Yeah, but again, I think that's the fragmentation of society.
Yeah.
Where there's always the haves and have-nots.
Yeah.
Maybe a unified plan will help. A unified long-term goal as from a prosperity perspective in New Zealand that they can improve. And people can get behind, but the political cycles are very short to achieve that. So it's very hard for anyone to get in behind. Like what they're doing with education now, with math and reading, I think it's good, but not everyone agrees with it. It's like basic fundamentals, right? Being able to read and do math at a very young age. But not everyone agrees with it. But more importantly, the teachers don't agree with it, which is very odd. So yeah, I think there's that fragmentation in society that Kiwis need to talk about it. But in Singapore, it's at a different ball game where it's the Hunger Games, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you have to finish first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You feel like, you are actually, you might be a Malay, but you don't have the typical Malay mindset, right? So could you flesh out, like, what is typical Malay mindset and how are you not like that, and whether that put you in a good state here or not, like, being away?
The mindset, I would say, it's a bit with the religion as well, where it's not about excess, it's about what's sufficient for you, right? So I think that does translate into life, where from an education standpoint, from a career standpoint, it's not about the excess. It's about having enough to support yourself and your family.
That's what my mother say, like, Shukr, Alhamdulillah.
Yes. It's correct, right? Yeah, I mean, it's not. It's correct, right?
It's not wrong.
Yeah, which is not wrong.
Contentment, I guess.
Yeah, it's how you perceive the world, right? But I don't have many Malay friends, so I cannot speak for them. But I feel that that's society in general from the Malays' perspective. For me, maybe because I don't have many, the influence is not there. And I've always charted my own path from a studying standpoint, from a career standpoint. Back then, I didn't know where it stopped from an education standpoint. I mean, if you take the Malay out of it, if you put family, you say, oh, go to school, study, work hard, get a good job. But they don't define what go school, work hard it is and get a good job, right? And then you put back the Malay element in that. A good job, generally, if you look at the population, it's about the civil services, a lot of them, right? So it's a stable job, it's enough, it can feed your family, you can afford 1 holiday a year, maybe, or 2 holidays a year, you can buy a BTO, and recently there's a lot of upgraders as well. That's enough, and not wrong, in fairness, but from an ambition standpoint, it would be nice to see more of them venture beyond the traditional roles, teacher, lawyer, engineer, doctor. It would be nice to see the ambition there to grow as a society. There's always the stigma about Malays back home, right? From a societal standpoint, but it would be nice to see ambition matched and grow as well, because you can only grow if you improve each other. Because no one will like someone coming in and say, no, I don't, you're an outsider, I don't want you to have an opinion, right?
Yeah.
So the only way
for your own people.
Yes, the only way is for your own people to bring the best out of you. It would be nice to see, but it could also be there are not many role models. Is not the right word. There are not many people that people can look up to from a Malay standpoint, and everyone that are of note is the usual lawyer, doctor, kind of thing. So it'd be nice to see if there's an expansion in that.
So you said, like, you don't really have a lot of Malay friends. So in terms of percentage, what is your friend racial makeup growing up generally, and even until now?
Mostly Chinese.
Oh, really?
Yeah, mostly Chinese. I don't keep in touch. I only keep in touch with my poly friends and the ones that I work with post poly. It's mostly Chinese. So yeah.
So like from spill over from secondary school lah.
Secondary school, I never keep in touch anymore.
Okay.
Poly is, I think it's 10 of us.
Okay.
It's really the population mix.
Yes.
I think it's 6 Chinese, 2 Malay, 1 Indian. I think that's the population mix now.
Which poly do you go to?
Singapore Poly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that was the proportion, and most of the people I keep in touch with from the part-time jobs are all Chinese. So that's basically my friend circle in Singapore. Yeah. So yeah, not many.
That's quite interesting when you told me, I guess.
Yeah, but yeah, that's.
Yeah, but I mean also to a certain extent, right? If like minority in Singapore, like Malay or your Indians, we tend to like
gravitate.
blend. Like it's like, okay, chances, there's a very higher chance that Malay or Indian can speak Chinese, but the other way around, not so much.
Not so much.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I guss it could be a survival thing. Could be like, no, I need to learn how to speak Chinese in case they say bad things about me. I understand. I was just telling Andrew the other day. I mean, and also yesterday with one of our guests, we talk about identity and race, right? Like, I've been asked, am I really Chinese or am I Chinese in passing? All right. So to be honest, like when I was younger, I identified more to my Malay side. I think it's first of all because already even on my dad's side, although Chinese, but we are like Peranakan. We don't speak Mandarin at home at all.
Okay.
It's either Malay, English, or when my grandfather was still around, random Hokkien stuff.
Okay.
So no Chinese at all. And then when I go to school, I speak Chinese only.
Yep.
Yeah, and I did very well in Chinese. For me, I'm like half Malay, but I look Chinese. And then I hang out with my Chindian friends. And then every time when we go out, right, like people would think she's the Malay because typically usually most Chindians look Malay because of their mix, right?
Yep.
So, some boys cheeky lah, try to hit my friend up, kind of thing. And then my friend don't understand a single word they say. And then I understand. And then they will like talk nonsense, right? Then I'll be the one to protect my friends and then scare them back, like say something in Malay, And then so that's kind of like my dynamic. And then growing up, I'm not Malay enough for my Malay friends. And I'm too dark for my Chinese friends. Yeah. I mean, because I was quite active also, so I was few shades darker than this. Yeah. So it was very interesting when one of my guests, who's actually also my master's supervisor, because I'm doing my master's now, so he's my supervisor. When he bring up Chinese in passing, which is the first time I'm hearing. I mean, I guess I always felt it, but I don't know that there's a term to define me. So when you say when Chinese in passing, meaning you look Chinese, you have the Chinese surname, so therefore you can like get away with things even though you are not Chinese. Like under the radar a bit lah. Because for example, if during fasting month I cannot fast, I can eat in public. Nobody will know. So obviously when you have advantages, you use the advantage, right? Yeah, nobody will know. But of course, when, say, because for me, I'm quite, I don't know, because maybe my grandmother raised me this way, like every time I go hawker center, apart from the Malay food, she will buy me stuff from vegetarian stores, right? Which, not whether right or wrong, but I mean, if you are a strict Malay Muslim, if my friends know I'm Muslim and I go to the Chinese store to buy, even if it's vegetarian, they'll be like, why you buy from Chinese stores, yeah? So, yeah, I mean, I use things to my advantage sometimes, growing up. And I listened to this podcast recently, they interviewed a few Malay, I think it's like a Malay-led podcast, like, basically asking different people from different backgrounds, what is their experience like growing up and all that. One of them raised the topic about names.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't.
Maybe you might have.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
The names does have job-wise.
Yes.
The names does have an impact.
Yes. So she said like, many of them, if they can, they anglicize their Malay name. So for example, if you're Khairul, right, just call me Khai.
Correct.
And then I have a very close friend, she just shortened her name to Rose, and yeah, and I didn't know that about my Malay friends until much later when we are adult and we talk about our experiences, that is what they went through. So for me, again, Chinese in passing. Maybe my name and my surname have actually been most likely my advantage all along, right? So
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
Like for me, similar experiences. Because I'm not very dark. I'm quite fair. My eyes are small. So I pass off as Chinese as well. So
okay.
So I can't. But that was the growing up thing as well. So very fair, eyes small. I don't look Malay.
Yeah, quite ambiguous.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
So and then I don't have a Muhammad in my name.
Yes.
So, but it's an assumption that every Malay Muslim has a
yes.
Muhammad, but I don't have it. So people look at you and say, "You sure you are
Malay?"
Yes, all right. And then when I went to the Navy as well, I was the first few. I had maybe number 3 or number 4 to be in an operational squadron. People ask, "Are you pure Malay?" I say, "Yeah, pure." Nothing special about me. I'm no minister's son or something,
I'm not mixed.
I'm not mixed, So I can resonate with you that part you can get away, and sometimes you will use it to your advantage. The naming part as well, I don't disagree. I do feel that if people can't pronounce your name, they might not take you from a job perspective. My vision for my kids when I have them is to have English names. It's just easier for them in society.
Yes.
Because I've learned that it is a factor.
Yes.
Especially if you're going to work in society that is not just Singapore, right? You might be New Zealand, you might be in Australia, you might be in the UK. The names, it's the first impression.
Yes.
Right? So it is important. Yeah. So I don't disagree.
It is what it is.
Yeah. I don't disagree that it is a factor.
That's my consideration when I name my girls as well. Like I want them, so the first name is quite anglicized, but also I didn't want them to forget that they have a mother who is mixed. So the middle name has an ambiguous element. Like, it can be, but it can also be, I mean, as kids, what do we know, right? But now when we look back, we realize that, actually, there are all these stories.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, it's better late than never, right? To be aware of your privilege or not. And I guess use that privilege for good, I guess. That would be the next follow-on statement. So, yeah. This has been very interesting and fun.
Yeah. Very nice nasi lemak.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And it's not $25?
No, it's not.